Enugu has every reason to be the hub of the southeast and the south. So if you begin to set up in these industries and begin to manufacture all of these consumable products, what are people going to find out? Oh, Enugu is actually making good products now. Why do I have to suffer to run all the way to Lagos to come and buy these commodities when I can simply buy them from Enugu? And so what you will find out is that Enugu begins to serve the southeast region and the south part of Nigeria. And what does that do? It creates revenue for the state. It creates income for the state. It creates jobs for the citizens, and the citizens pay taxes, and it's a multiplier effect. So we need to stop this dependency on Lagos. It is destroying the economies of every other region of Nigeria. And so what people do is run out, make money. You come to Enugu, you buy stuff from Lagos, you come to Enugu, sell, generate that money. You take all that money and ship it back to Lagos. Why? Why can't that money stay within the state? And the only way we can keep that money within the state is to ensure that we have industries manufacturing those things that our people consume.
Yeah.
So our people need shoes. Make sure there's a factory here in Enugu that manufactures good shoes. Our people need drugs. Make sure there's a factory here in Enugu. It doesn't have to be owned by the state. Now, you can find a good drug manufacturer in Lagos. And you say, hey, listen, my brother, if you can come and set up in Enugu, we'll give you tax exemption for 7 years. You have created the avenue to lure that business to find a reason to come and set up in Enugu. And let him understand that when he does that, he may be thinking that Lagos is the most beneficial to him. But when he does that, he begins to serve the southeast and the south, and even people from Cameroon and Malabo who come into the southeast to buy commodities will start patronizing that business. And so that he doesn't have less than 150 million large market to serve. And so when you begin to do these kinds of negotiations, what's going to happen is that you're going to find other companies, thinking, nah, really, if I set up in Enugu, I'm going to get 7 days, 7 years tax exemption. They will come and invest, set up factories. And so what we simply need to do is scale industries in the southeast. I have said this a million times. I've said this over the years. If you can solve that problem, you would have solved the unemployment problem. You would have solved the high prostitution, the growing prostitution and crime rates in Enugu. Our young people don't have jobs. And that's why it's easy for them to, take up arms and begin to do crazy stuff. Create industries and create jobs. People go to work in the morning, they come back by 6 o'clock, they are tired. They're thinking about their bed. They don't have time to go out and start smoking stuff or doing some illegal activities. Okay, so it's really a simple process. So if I were the leader of the state, that's what I'll do. I'll make sure that everything that our people consume is produced from the state. You don't just serve, like I said, you don't just serve the state, but you serve the region. And the state is better off for that. And so through this model alone, you can generate billions of dollars, not even necessarily naira. That's on one hand. On the other hand, Enugu State has solid minerals as well. I've talked about this in recent times. Enugu State has solid minerals. We have gas. We just discovered we have gas. So all you need to do is the same way Buhari made sure that he put money in the exploration of petroleum, crude oil in the north, put money into exploration of solid minerals. Whether it's gas or crude oil or precious stones or limestone, invest in the exploration of solid minerals because we know we have so many. Okay? But if you don't even want to do extra work, just go to geological survey. Let them give you a list of what Enugu has. All you simply need to do is put out a call for tender. You'll announce it to the world. Hey, we have all of this, blah, blah, blah. We have bitumen, we have cobalt, we have this, whatever it is that you have. Announce it. Now, invite a bid for license. And so both Nigerian and foreign companies will come and bid for licenses. When they bid for licenses, they pay heavily for... When MTN and Econet came to Enugu, don't you know how much money they paid for license? It's the same thing with solid minerals. And so when you put out the bid, people come and bid. And so whoever wins the bid pays government heavily to get that license. And so that license gives them rights to explore. But then whatever they make from their exploration activities, they pay back taxes and they give government a certain percentage based on agreement. And so that's another way to generate revenue. Now, the other thing you can do is make sure that you bring in, tech trainers who can train the citizens of Enugu, not this nonsense they do, as SME and say they're training people. Bring in, top-notch tech trainers who will convert the young population of Enugu to techies, right? When they get the skills, they simply sit in their homes and make money for themselves and for the state. Because they're for example, Upwork and Fiverr and different websites where you can sit down. If you're a graphic designer, you're a video editor, you're a data analyst, whatever skill you have, you're an accountant, you're a teacher, whatever skill you have, you can plug this to a digital platform and begin to generate dollars or even euros. People from around the world will subscribe to your services and pay you online. And you're living in Enugu and earning as much as $3,000, $4,000 a month. It is possible. Young people are doing this in Lagos. Why are people in Enugu not doing it? Because they don't know the possibilities. I was invited to speak to young people an event recently, and I was speaking, and I found that there was a young man who was working, a techie who was working for this organization. And somebody asked him, what do you do? He says, I'm a techie. And the person that did the event said that he is the main technical guy in the organization. And I asked, are you making money internationally? He says no. I'm like, I felt very sad for this young man because he has such an amazing skill and he doesn't know that there are ways for him to plug this to a digital platform and actually make money globally. I mean globally, and you will not be making any. You're just making $1,500 a month, which is enough money for, by all means and by all standards in Nigeria. But people don't know this. But it is the work of government to make sure that you set up institutions who will give out this kind of trainings. 1 year, 2 years, you have a certificate in data analysis or in digital multimedia, whatever.